When I picked up my daughter-in-law's phone that Sunday afternoon at 2:17 p.m., I expected to see a grocery reminder or maybe a text from the caterer. What I saw instead stopped my heart. My son William's face, the same photo from his funeral program 4 years ago, lighting up the screen with a text that read, "The boy is getting too curious. Shut him down or I tell Martha everything." That's when I knew my son wasn't dead. And my daughter-in-law had been lying to me for 1,460 days. Let me take you back to how this nightmare began. The apartment above my flower shop smelled like Sunday morning, fresh-cut roses mingling with magnolias, the scent so thick you could almost taste the sweetness. Sunlight poured through my grandmother's lace curtains, casting delicate shadows across the hardwood floors of Reeves and Bloom's on Bull Street. Light jazz drifted from the old Zenith radio my late husband Samuel used to listen to while doing crossword puzzles. I wound his Timex watch on my wrist. 7:30 a.m. like clockwork every single morning for the past 8 years. It's funny how grief becomes routine. Wind the watch. Remember the man. Keep moving. But that Sunday was special. Tyler's 12th birthday. I'd spent the morning arranging white hydrangeas and blue delphiniums in vintage mason jars. His favorite colors, the same shades of his father's eyes. The red velvet cake sat cooling on the counter, cream cheese frosting perfectly smooth. William's childhood favorite. Even though he'd been gone 4 years, I still baked it for Tyler. Some traditions survive death. Or what I thought was death. Party was small. Just the 3 of us. Me, my daughter-in-law Kaylee, and Tyler. The boy had grown so quiet over the years, like someone had turned down the volume on his soul. When he blew out the candles, he didn't close his eyes to make a wish. He just stared at the flames with this hollow, distant look that made my chest ache. "Make a wish, sweetheart," I'd encouraged, touching his shoulder. He'd shrugged, blown out the candles, said nothing. Kaylee noticed too. I saw it in the way her smile faltered, the way her hands twisted together. "I need to freshen up," she announced suddenly, standing too fast, her chair scraping against the floor. "Be right back, Martha." She disappeared into the bathroom, leaving her iPhone 13 Pro on the kitchen counter, face up, plugged into the charger by the coffee maker. I wasn't snooping. Let me be clear about that. I was wiping frosting off the counter when the screen lit up at exactly 2:17 p.m. I know because I glanced at Samuel's watch out of habit. The phone buzzed. Once. And there he was. William's face. That photo, that exact photo, from the funeral program. Him at the beach, wind in his hair, laughing at something I'd said about seagulls stealing sandwich crusts. We'd printed 200 copies of that program. I'd held one in my trembling hands while a minister I didn't know talked about my son like he was already becoming a memory. But William wasn't a memory. Because dead men don't send text messages. Caller ID. William Blue Heart. Message. "The boy is getting too curious. Shut him down or I tell Martha everything." My hands went numb. The dish towel I'd been holding slipped from my fingers and fell to the floor. A soft thud that sounded like thunder in my suddenly too quiet kitchen. I read it again, then again, hoping I'd misunderstood. Hoping my 71-year-old eyes were playing tricks. "Boy, Taylor, shut him down. I tell Martha everything." The room tilted. I gripped the counter's edge, knuckles white, trying to understand what I was seeing. Kaylee's phone. William's photo. A text from my dead son threatening to tell me. What? What was there to tell? The bathroom door opened. Water running. Kaylee humming something off-key. I looked at the phone. Looked at the bathroom. Looked at Tyler in the living room with his headphones on, lost in whatever 12-year-olds listen to when they're trying to forget their fathers are dead. Except his father wasn't dead. Have you ever had a moment where your entire reality just shatters? Where everything you thought was true turns out to be a lie? The jazz on the radio kept playing. The roses kept smelling sweet. The sunlight kept streaming through those lace curtains like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. My son was alive. And my daughter-in-law, the woman I'd helped through her grief, The woman I'd given $40,000 for a house down payment, the woman who'd sobbed in my arms at William's funeral, had been lying to my face for 4 years. 1,460 days of lies. Kaylee's footsteps approached. I heard her drying her hands on a towel, clearing her throat. In 3 seconds, she'd walk back into this kitchen. In 3 seconds, I'd have to decide. Do I confront her? Do I pretend I didn't see? Do I scream? Picked up her phone. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped it. 2 seconds. The screen was still lit. William's message glowing like an accusation. 1 second. What would you do? Have you ever discovered a secret that changed everything? Keep watching because what I found next made that text message look like a love letter. Kaylee walked back into the kitchen drying her hands on a dish towel, humming that off-key tune she always hummed when she was nervous. Then she saw me, standing there, holding her phone, my face white as the magnolia petals in the vase on the windowsill. The humming died in her throat. Martha, I can explain. My voice came out cold, colder than I'd ever heard it. Explain. Explain how my dead son just texted you. I held up the phone, William's face glowing between us like a ghost made of pixels. Explain who the boy is. Explain what exactly you're supposed to tell me. Her face crumbled. Tears welled up instantly, mascara already starting to run. She opened her mouth but no sound came out. That's when Tyler appeared in the doorway. Headphones around his neck. Eyes darting between his mother and me, that 12-year-old survival instinct kicking in. The one that tells you when adults are about to blow your world apart. Mom. Grandma. What's happening? I forced my voice steady, controlled, but firm as Georgia clay. Tyler, sweetheart, go to your room. Your mother and I need to have an adult conversation. He hesitated. He wasn't a baby anymore. He could see his mother's tears, could hear the steel in my voice, and I never raised my voice. Now, Tyler. He went. The door clicked shut. The apartment fell silent except for the wall clock. Each second felt like an eternity. Kaylee collapsed into a kitchen chair like someone had cut her strings. Mascara streaked down her cheeks. Her hands shook. I'm so sorry. God, Martha, I'm so sorry. I sat across from her, placed the phone on the table between us like evidence at a crime scene. Because that's what it was, wasn't it? Evidence. Proof of a conspiracy that had stolen 4 years of my life. Start talking, I said quietly. And if you lie to me even once, I'm calling the police right now. She took a shuddering breath. And then the dam broke. William embezzled $2.8 million from Hartwell Industries. He was VP of Finance. They did an internal audit in March 2020. Found discrepancies. Big ones. Federal investigators were coming. Wire fraud. Embezzlement. Maybe money laundering. He was facing 20 years in federal prison, Martha. 20 years. My son. My William. The boy I'd raised to return extra change at the grocery store. A thief. I thought I might be sick. He came home March 18th at 11:43 p.m. Kaylee continued, words tumbling out now like confession. Pale. Shaking. Said it was a mistake. That his boss was framing him, that the audit was wrong. He was my husband, Martha. Her voice broke. I believed him. What did you do? Already knew. God help me, I already knew. Her eyes met mine. Red. Swollen. Desperate. We staged a car accident. 75 outside Atlanta. William had contacts. People who could make things happen. There was a body. Burn. I had to identify it at the morgue. She gagged on the memory. I told them it was William. The appendectomy scar matched. The wedding ring. The wallet. Everything he'd planted. The red velvet cake sat half-eaten on the counter. William's favorite. I'd baked his favorite cake for his son's birthday while he was alive somewhere, spending stolen money. He went to Texas, Kaylee whispered. Took the $2.8 million. Started over with a new name. The plan was to wait 7 to 10 years, Until the statute of limitations, then he'd come back. We'd disappear together. New identities. New life. The three of us. I stared at her. And you believed that fairy tale? I loved him, she sobbed. Tyler needed his father. I was desperate. Chose wrong, Martha. I've known for 2 years I chose wrong. The clock kept ticking. Somewhere down the street, a church bell rang. Sunday services letting out. Normal people living normal lives while mine disintegrated. I asked the question that terrified me most. Where is my son now? Kaylee's voice dropped to barely a whisper. El Paso, Texas. Living as Robert Nash. Running a car dealership. She looked up at me, fresh tears spilling over. And Martha, he's not the man we thought he was. Something in her tone made my blood run cold. What does that mean? She reached for her purse with shaking hands. Pulled out another phone. Cheap burner. Cracked screen. There's more, she whispered. So much more. And it's worse than you can imagine. What did Kaylee discover about William that terrified her? And why was he texting about Tyler? Stay with me. Because the truth about my son's new life was about to destroy everything I thought I knew about family. Have you ever had someone you trusted completely turn out to be a stranger? Kaylee's voice dropped to barely a whisper, like speaking the memory out loud might make it real all over again. March 31st, 2020. 11:47 p.m. I was in bed, pretending to sleep, waiting for the call I knew was coming. Her hands twisted together in her lap, knuckles white. When the burner phone buzzed, I thought I might throw up. William's voice was calm. Come. Like he was ordering pizza instead of orchestrating his own death. He said, "It's done, Kay. There's been a crash. Multiple vehicles. 75 southbound. Mile marker 237. 1 fatality. Male, burned beyond recognition, approximately my height and build. You know what to do." I felt the room tilt. My son. My William. Talking about burning a body like it was nothing. I drove to Grady Memorial Hospital in Atlanta, Kaylee continued, staring at her hands. My whole body was shaking. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my fingers cramped. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and something else. Something metallic and wrong. That's what death smells like, Martha. She looked up at me, tears streaming. Dr. Patricia Wong, the medical examiner, she was kind. Too kind. She put her hand on my shoulder and said, "Ma'am, I need to warn you. The body is severely burned. We need you to identify any distinguishing features you can." I wanted to cover my ears. To unhear this. But I forced myself to listen. They led me into this room. Deal table. Fluorescent lights. And there was a body. Charred. Unrecognizable. I'd never seen anything like it. I ran to the trash can and vomited. Kaylee's voice cracked completely. Dr. Wong asked me about distinguishing features. I mentioned William's appendectomy scar, lower right abdomen. He found it. I mentioned his wedding ring, the one with our anniversary engraved inside. It was there, planted on the corpse's finger. His wallet. His driver's license. Everything matched. Whose body was it? My voice sounded hollow, distant. I don't know. William said he had contacts. People who could arrange things. I didn't ask. God help me, Martha, I didn't want to know. She pulled out papers from her purse with trembling hands. I signed the death certificate. Right here. See. My signature. My hand left sweat marks on the clipboard. I stared at the document. Official. Legal. A lie written in ink. Tell me about the funeral, I heard myself say. Kaylee flinched like I'd slapped her. But I needed to know. Needed to understand the depth of this deception. So I told her what I remembered. Every excruciating detail. April 8, 2020. Bonaventure Cemetery. Spanish moss hanging from ancient oaks like widows' veils. I'd counted the attendees. 43 people. I always count when I'm grieving. Numbers make sense when nothing else does. The casket was closed. Wood. Brass handles. A spray of white roses across the top because William loved roses. Or so I thought. Maybe I never knew my son at all. Kaylee had sobbed into my shoulder, her whole body shaking. I'd held her, stroked her hair, whispered that everything would be okay. Tyler was 8 years old, wearing his first suit, navy blue, too big in the shoulders. He'd held my hand so tight I could feel his pulse hammering against my palm. "Grandma," he'd whispered, looking up at me with William's eyes. "Where did Daddy go? Will he come back?" I'd knelt down on that cold ground, cupped his small face in my hands, and lied to my grandson. "Your daddy went to heaven, sweetheart. He's with the angels now. He's watching over you." Every word a betrayal. I didn't even know I was speaking. The minister read Psalm 23. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." They lowered that casket into Georgia red clay while I stood there believing my son was inside. But he wasn't, was he? Just a stranger. Some nameless man whose family probably still doesn't know what happened to him. Someone else's son. After everyone left, I'd stayed. Stood at that grave for over an hour. Talking to William. Telling him I loved him. Promising to take care of Tyler. I'd planted a dogwood tree, his favorite. "Remember, William?" I'd whispered to the dirt. "Remember when you were 7 and we planted one in the backyard? You got mud all over your church clothes and I pretended to be mad, but I wasn't really. That tree is still there. Growing strong. Blooming every spring. Growing over a lie." I looked at Kaylee sitting across from me in my kitchen, mascara streaked, broken. "I mourned at an empty grave," I said quietly. "I cried over a stranger's bones. I talked to dirt while my son was alive in Texas, spending stolen money." Kaylee nodded, sobbing silently. The red velvet cake still sat on the counter. Tyler's birthday. Another tradition built on lies. I leaned forward. "Tell me everything else. And I mean everything. Because if you leave out one more detail, Kaylee, I swear to God." "There's more," she whispered. "The money. The life insurance. And Martha." She looked at me with pure terror in her eyes. "There's someone else." My blood turned to ice. What do you mean, someone else? What secret was Kaylee still hiding? And who was this mysterious someone else? The truth about William's new life was about to get even darker. Kaylee's hands trembled as she pulled out her phone, not the iPhone on the counter, but her personal one from her purse. She tapped through screens with shaking fingers, then turned it toward me. Bank of America. Her checking account. "The life insurance policy," she whispered. "MetLife. We bought it in 2015. $600,000. Double indemnity for accidental death." I stared at the screen. My vision blurred, then sharpened with rage. It paid out in September 2020, 6 months after William. After the funeral. Her voice broke on that word. "I told you it was for Tyler's college fund. A safe investment account where he couldn't touch it until he turned 18. That was a lie." "That was a lie," she echoed. "I've always been good with numbers. It's how I've kept the flower shop running for 37 years. So my mind did the math automatically, coldly. "How much have you sent him?" $8,000 a month since October 2020. She could barely get the words out. "That's 42 months. $336,000. Plus a $50,000 setup fee," he demanded at the start. "For his new identity. His new life. $386,000. My grandson's future. What happened to the other $214,000? I heard myself ask. Kaylee's face crumbled like wet paper. "Donna." That name again. The someone else. "Who is?" "Wait." She held up a hand. "There's more you need to see first." She opened her laptop with shaking hands. Pulled up more bank statements. The house, the one I'd co-signed for. The one I'd contributed $40,000 toward as a down payment because I wanted my grandson to grow up in a real home with a backyard. In 2022, I took out a second mortgage. $180,000. I felt the air leave my lungs. You told me that was for renovations. A new roof. The kitchen remodel. I know. I never saw a new roof, Kaylee. I know. The kitchen looks exactly the same. I know. She was sobbing now, but I felt no sympathy. Only cold, burning fury. She pulled up her Bank of America account. Years of wire transfers scrolled past. All to the same recipient. R. Nash Automotive LLC, El Paso, Texas. Robert Nash. William. $8,000 on the first of every month. Like clockwork. Like paying a mortgage on a lie. And other amounts. Bigger ones. $25,000. $35,000. $50,000. The note said things like loan repayment, business investment, family support. Each transfer felt like a knife between my ribs. 4 years, I said quietly. 4 years of this. Martha, show me the texts. She reached into her purse again, pulled out another phone, a cheap Android with a cracked screen. Burner phone. This is how we communicate. Untraceable. She unlocked it, showed me a text thread labeled simply R. I read them. Every single one. Each message made me feel sicker than the last. February 2021 K. I miss you. When can we be together? R. Soon, baby. Just keep sending the money. Stay patient, baby. He called her baby while I baked red velvet cakes for the ghost of my son. June 2022 K. Tyler asks about you every day. It's breaking my heart. R. Tell him I loved him. Past tense. He'll understand eventually. Past tense. My hands clenched into fists. Tyler asked about his father. Every day. And William, my son, had told Kaylee to use the past tense. Like Tyler was nothing. Like his own child was an inconvenience. November 2023 K. Donna contacted me. She knows. She wants money. What do I do? R. Pay her. Keep her quiet. I'll figure it out. Donna. Again. March 2024 K. I can't keep doing this. I'm drowning. I've paid Donna $120,000. She wants more. R. Not my problem. Handle it. Problem. His wife, his first wife, drowning in debt paying blackmail to some woman named Donna, and it wasn't his problem. I set the phone down carefully. If I held it any longer, I'd throw it through the window. Who's Donna? My voice was ice. Pure ice. Kaylee took a breath, met my eyes, and said the words that made everything infinitely worse. William's wife. The world stopped. Silence crashed over the kitchen like a wave. The clock kept ticking. The jazz kept playing on the old radio. But I couldn't hear anything except the rush of blood in my ears. Say that again. Donna Pritchard. 41 years old. From Texas. She's William's wife. He's already married. To you. I know. That's bigamy. I know. Kaylee. I leaned forward, my voice dropping to something dangerous. Are you telling me my son is married to 2 women? She nodded, tears streaming down her face. Does she know about you? Yes. Does she know about Tyler? Yes. Then why? I stopped. My mind caught up. $120,000. You've paid her $120,000. She's blackmailing me, Kaylee whispered. She found out William was still married to me. That makes her marriage invalid. That makes her daughter. Daughter. Have you ever felt your heart actually stop? Not metaphorically. Actually stop beating for a second. Kaylee nodded miserably. Emma. She's 3 years old. William has another daughter. My son didn't just fake his death and steal millions. He built an entirely new family. And now that family wanted more money, or they'd destroy everything. What would you do if you discovered this kind of betrayal? Daughter. William had another daughter. My mind couldn't process it. Wouldn't process it. But Kaylee kept talking, words tumbling out like a confession she'd been holding back for too long. 6 months ago, October, William stopped answering my calls. The texts became different, cold. Like I was bothering him instead of being his wife. "You're not his wife," I said flatly. "Not if he married someone else." She flinched but nodded. October 18th. 9:42 p.m. I was putting Tyler to bed when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. She pulled up the text on her burner phone. Showed me. "Is this Kaylee Reeves? The widow of William Reeves. We need to talk. My name is Donna Pritchard. I'm William's wife. And I just found out about you." "I had a panic attack," Kaylee whispered. Right there in Tyler's doorway. Couldn't breathe. I ran to the bathroom and vomited. Tyler kept asking if I was okay and I just lied again. Told him I had food poisoning. She'd called the number. A woman answered. Southern accent. Angry. Scared. Her name is Donna Pritchard. 41. Born in Amarillo, Texas. Works as an event coordinator, weddings, corporate events, that kind of thing. Kaylee pulled up a Facebook profile on her phone. Showed me a picture of a blonde woman with a wide smile, holding a toddler with William's eyes. My granddaughter. Another granddaughter I didn't know existed. Donna met Robert Nash at a charity gala in El Paso in November 2019. Kaylee continued mechanically, like reciting facts helped her cope. He was charming, wealthy, owned a luxury car dealership, donated $50,000 to a children's hospital that night. She thought he was a good man. I almost laughed. Good man. My son, the embezzler, the fraud, the man who faked his own death, played hero for a woman he planned to deceive. They dated for 6 months. He proposed in April 2020. They got married May 14, 2020. Small ceremony. Courthouse. Just them and 2 witnesses. 6 weeks after his funeral. 6 weeks after I'd stood at his grave sobbing. He was marrying another woman. She got pregnant immediately. Had a daughter, Emma, in February 2021. She's 3 now. 3 years old. The same age Tyler was when William and Kaylee bought their house. When I'd held my grandson and thought about how proud I was that my son was building a stable life for his family. How did Donna find out? Yes. Kaylee scrolled through her phone, pulled up screenshots. September 2023. She was looking for their passports. They were planning a vacation to Cancun. William's home office has a safe. He kept important documents there. But that day he'd left it open. Forgot to close it. She showed me a photo Donna had sent. A Georgia driver's license. William James Reeves. His face. His real name. She Googled him, Kaylee said quietly. Found his obituary. Found my Facebook page. I'd posted memorial things every year on the anniversary. 4 years without you. I miss you every day. Found your business page, Martha. Photos of William. Our wedding. Tyler as a baby. Felt sick. Donna realized she'd married a dead man. That her marriage wasn't legal. That her daughter was, in her mind, illegitimate. She's Catholic. Traditional. It destroyed her. Good, I said coldly. Kaylee looked at me shocked. What? She's blackmailing you, Kaylee. She's bleeding you dry while my grandson suffers. I'm supposed to feel sorry for her. She confronted William, Kaylee continued. He confessed everything. The embezzlement. The fake death. Me. Taylor. Everything. And then, she threatened to call the FBI. Turn him in. He'd go to prison for 20+ years. She'd lose the house, the dealership, everything. Her daughter's father would be in prison. Waited. So William begged. Told her he loved her. Loved Emma. That he'd made mistakes but was building a better life. Begged her not to destroy it. And she agreed. For a price. Kaylee nodded miserably. Donna said Kaylee would pay $500,000. Quote, That's what she owes me for stealing my legitimacy, my marriage, my daughter's future. That's insane. That's blackmail. Kaylee's voice broke. She gave me an ultimatum. Pay $500,000 or she goes to the FBI. William goes to prison. I go to prison as an accessory. Tyler loses both parents. The math was brutal and simple. Pay or lose everything. How much have you paid? $120,000 so far. The second mortgage. Tyler's actual college fund. I drained it. Maxed out 3 credit cards. I'm drowning, Martha. How much does she still want? $380,000. Deadline is May 15th. Kaylee checked her phone. 31 days from now. 31 days until Donna destroyed everything. Unless Kaylee somehow found $380,000. Which she didn't have. My mind raced. The flower shop made decent money, but not that kind of money. My savings. Maybe $80,000 if I emptied everything. Does Tyler know any of this? Asked suddenly. Kaylee shook her head quickly. Too quickly. No. I've protected him. He thinks his father is dead. He's been acting out lately. Skipping school, angry outbursts, but I thought it was just normal grief. 12 is a hard age. Something in her voice didn't sit right. Kaylee. I stood up. Show me Tyler's room. Right now. What? Why? Because you're lying. I didn't know how I knew, but I knew. 4 years of deception had taught me to recognize the sound of someone hiding something. Tyler's been acting out. Asking questions. You said William texted you about the boy getting too curious. What is Tyler curious about? Kaylee's face went white. Martha, I don't think. Now, Kaylee. She stood on shaking legs and led me down the hallway. Have you ever known something terrible was waiting for you? That sick feeling in your stomach when you know you're about to discover something that changes everything. That's how I felt walking toward my grandson's bedroom door. Kaylee opened it. And what I found inside made everything so much worse. What was Tyler hiding in his room? And how much did my 12-year-old grandson know about his father's lies? Stay with me, because the truth about Tyler was the most heartbreaking twist of all. Tyler's bedroom door swung open, and my heart was already breaking before I even stepped inside. Braves posters covered the walls. Freddie Freeman, Ronald Acuna Jr., remnants of better days when Tyler still smiled. Marvel superheroes hung beside them. Spider-Man, Iron Man, the Avengers. His desk was cluttered with half-finished homework and a gaming headset draped over the chair. On his dresser sat 3 framed photos that told a story of loss. Tyler at 6 with William, both grinning at a Braves game. Tyler at 10 with me in the flower shop, his arms around my waist. And Tyler at 12, alone, no smile, just hollow eyes staring at the camera. Martha, I don't think we should. Kaylee started. He's in the bathroom. We have 5 minutes. My hands were already moving, searching. Something's wrong. I can feel it. I checked under his mattress. Nothing. His desk drawers. Just schoolwork, old report cards with declining grades. The closet. Clothes, old toys from when he was little, a deflated basketball. Then I saw it. Up shelf. A shoebox with private, written in black Sharpie. My hands trembled as I pulled it down. Inside I found my grandson's secrets. Burner phone. Cheap Android with a purple case. Cracked screen just like Kaylee's. A printed email confirmation with an American Airlines logo. A handwritten note on yellow legal paper in William's distinctive scrawl. And a photo. William with a blonde toddler at a park, both laughing. His other daughter. Tyler's half-sister he didn't know existed. What is that? Kaylee whispered, but she already knew. I could hear it in her voice. The sound of a mother's worst fear coming true. I unfolded the flight itinerary with shaking hands. Passenger. Tyler James Reeves. Flight. AA 2847. Route. Savannah/Hilton Head, Dallas, Fort Worth, El Paso International. Date. Saturday, April 20th, 2024. Departure. 6:15 a.m. Arrival. 1:43 p.m. Ticket type one way. Paid by Robert Nash. Visa ending in 4782. He's leaving in 6 days. My voice sounded hollow, distant. William bought Tyler a one-way ticket to Texas. Kaylee read over my shoulder, and the color drained from her face. Oh my God. Oh my God. Martha, he's taking my son. He's taking. Read this. I handed her the note. It was in William's handwriting. I'd recognize it anywhere. I still had every birthday card, every Mother's Day note he'd ever written me, stored in a box in my closet like precious relics of a son who no longer existed. The note was poison disguised as love. Tyler, don't tell your mom or grandma about this trip. They'll stop you because they don't want you to be happy. They want to control you. This is our secret. Just you and me, like when you were little. Control. He was accusing me of being controlling while literally kidnapping his own son. When you land in El Paso, I'll be waiting at arrivals, gate 3. We're going on an adventure. First stop, Mexico. Then Brazil. Fresh start. You, me, Donna, and your little sister Emma. Real family. Not the broken one in Savannah. Brazil. No extradition treaty. Once Tyler crossed that border, we'd never get him back. Pack light. Bring your passport. Check your mom's desk drawer. She keeps it in the brown folder. Bring clothes for warm weather. And Tyler, bring that photo of us at the Braves game in 2018. I want to remember who we were. My hands clenched into fists, crinkling the paper. He was using Tyler's love against him, weaponizing a 12-year-old's grief. I love you, son. Always have. Your mom and grandma kept us apart, but not anymore. See you Saturday, Dad. He's turning Tyler against us, Kaylee sobbed. Making us the villains. I picked up the burner phone. Had a passcode. 4 digits. Try his birthday, Kaylee suggested. I shook my head. William wouldn't use that. He'd use something that meant something to him. Then it hit me. March 31st. The day William died. 0-3-3-1. The phone unlocked. Smart kid, I whispered. He's been documenting everything. The screen showed 67 text messages between Tyler and Uncle Rob. 14 recorded phone calls. Photos of William's mansion, his car dealership, him with Donna and Emma looking like the perfect family. I scrolled to the most recent call. April 10, 2024. 8:47 p.m. 4 days ago. I hit play. William's voice filled the room. Warm, paternal, loving. The voice I remembered from bedtime stories and backyard baseball games. But the words were poison. William. Tyler, buddy, how are you? Tyler. Okay, I guess. Mom's been crying a lot. William. That's because she feels guilty. She's the reason I had to leave. She and your grandma, they told the FBI where I was. They wanted me gone. I felt my world tilt. He was blaming us. Making Tyler believe we betrayed him. Tyler. That doesn't sound like grandma. William. Tyler, listen to me. Your grandma is manipulative. She controls your mom. She wants to control you. Classic abuser tactic. Act sweet, then destroy you when you don't obey. I've seen it my whole life. Tears streamed down my face. I'd raised this man. Loved him. Sacrificed for him. And he was calling me an abuser to manipulate my grandson. Tyler. She's never hurt me. William. Not yet. But she will. That's why you need to come to Texas. I'll protect you. Tyler, quiet. Okay, Dad. I trust you. William. Good boy. I'm recording this, by the way. For court. When you come live with me, I'll need proof that your mom was unfit. That your grandma was abusive. These recordings will show you wanted to leave. That you were being mistreated. It'll be legal. Clean. No one can stop us. The call ended. Silence filled the room except for Kaylee's sobbing and my own ragged breathing. William wasn't just planning to take Tyler. He was building a legal case, manufacturing evidence of abuse, poisoning Tyler's mind against everyone who actually loved him. In 6 days, my grandson would board a plane thinking he was going to his father. But he was really being kidnapped to a country where we couldn't reach him. I looked at Kaylee, tears streaming down both our faces. "He's kidnapping Tyler," I said quietly. "And Tyler doesn't even know it." My son had become a monster. And in 6 days he'd take my grandson forever. What would you do to save a child from someone they trusted? Because I was about to do something I never thought possible. I was going to war with my own son. I stood in Tyler's doorway, clutching that phone like it was evidence in a murder trial. Which, in a way, it was, the murder of my grandson's childhood, his trust, his future. "Kaylee." My voice came out steady, cold. I didn't recognize it. "We're going downstairs to my shop. Bring everything, both phones, the documents, that note. All of it." "But Tyler." "Tyler stays here with Mrs. Chen. My neighbor, bless her, was always home and adored my grandson. We tell him nothing yet. Not until we have a plan." "Martha, what are we?" "We're going to war." I looked at her directly. "And we're going to win." 10 minutes later we sat in Reeves and Bloom's. I'd locked the door, flipped the closed sign, pulled down the shades. The shop smelled like roses and magnolias, but all I could smell was betrayal. I sat at my mother's antique desk, the same one she'd used when she ran this shop in the 1970s, the same one where she'd taught me to balance books and arrange funeral sprays. She'd handled grief every day in this business. Now it was my turn. Picked up the phone. "Call number 1, my brother James." James Colson, 68, semi-retired from Atlanta PD, working cold cases because he got bored playing golf. He answered on the second ring. "Martha. Everything okay?" "James, I need you to pull William's old case file. The embezzlement. Is it still active?" Silence. Then, "Martha. Why are you asking about? Is it active?" I didn't have time for questions. Papers shuffling. "Yes. FBI Financial Crimes Division still has it open. Wire fraud over $1 million. There's no statute of limitations. If William turned up today, he'd face immediate arrest and federal trial." His voice sharpened. "Martha, what's going on?" "William's alive. He's in El Paso, Texas. And he's planning to kidnap Tyler in 6 days." The silence on the other end lasted so long I thought the call had dropped. "James. I'm coming to Savannah. Tonight. Don't do anything until I get there. I'm not sitting still while my grandson." "Martha." His detective voice. The one that made criminals confess. "Give me 4 hours. Please." I hung up and dialed the second number. Call number 2. Private investigator Lucia Santos. 52 years old, former FBI agent, ran her own firm in Atlanta now. I'd used her once before when a supplier was shorting my flower orders. She was thorough, ruthless, perfect. Lucia Santos. "Miss Santos, this is Martha Reeves. I hired you 3 years ago for." "I remember, Mrs. Reeves. What do you need?" "Everything on Robert Nash, El Paso, Texas. Business records, property records, social media, associates, bank accounts if you can get them. Everything. Money is no object." "How fast?" 48 hours. That's aggressive. My grandson's life depends on it." "Done. Send me a retainer and I'll start now." I transferred $5,000 from my savings account before we even hung up. 36 hours later, Lucia delivered. I sat at that same desk, Kaylee beside me, reading through a file that made my blood run cold. Nash Premium Motors, 4520 Montana Avenue, El Paso. LLC registered November 2019. 2 months after William died. Annual revenue. $4.3 million. But Lucia had flagged something. Revenue didn't match inventory turnover. Translation. William was laundering the embezzled money through fake car sales. Washing it clean. 8847 Scenic Ridge Drive, West El Paso. Mansion. $1.2 million. Cash purchase in December 2019. No mortgage. Just stolen money buying a dream house for a stolen life. Property tax records showed Robert and Donna Nash as owners. His fake wife. His fake family. But it was the social media that broke my heart. Robert Nash had a public Facebook profile. 847 friends. Photos everywhere. Him with Donna at charity galas. Him holding Emma at the zoo. Him at country club golf tournaments. Posts about family values and second chances, and building a legacy. And then I saw the most recent post. April 8th. 6 days ago. Excited for my son to visit next week. Family is everything. House with garden, red heart. My son to visit. Like Tyler was just coming for a vacation. Like William wasn't planning to steal him forever. The photo with the post showed William at his dealership, smiling that same smile I'd seen 1,000 times growing up. Same dimple on his left cheek. Same man who used to help me arrange hydrangeas when he was 12, who'd hand me flowers and say, "This one, Mama? Is this one pretty?" That boy was gone. The monster using his face was someone I didn't recognize. "There's more," Lucia had said on the phone. "You need to see the emails." She'd somehow gotten into William's email account. I didn't ask how, didn't want to know. What she'd found made everything so much worse. Email to Dr. Ricardo Mendez, attorney at law, Sao Paulo, Brazil. Date: March 15, 2024. Dr. Mendez. I need assistance with international custody arrangements. My son, age 12, U.S. citizen, will be relocating to Brazil permanently. His mother is unfit, drug abuse, neglect. I need documentation prepared to establish legal custody in Brazil. Timeline: late April 2024. Compensation negotiable. Drug abuse, neglect. Lies upon lies upon lies. I looked at Kaylee. He's building a legal case against you in Brazil. Forging evidence. Making you look unfit so he can claim Tyler permanently. She was crying again, but I had no more sympathy left. We were past tears now. Lucia had mapped out William's timeline based on the emails. Saturday, April 20th. Tyler arrives in El Paso. Sunday, April 21st. Cross into Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. No passport check, just tourist cards. Monday, April 22nd. Flight from Mexico City to Sao Paulo, Brazil. Tuesday, April 23rd. Tyler disappears into Brazil's interior. Some small town where William has already purchased property. Brazil has no extradition treaty with the U.S. for financial crimes. Once William crossed that border with Tyler, he'd be untouchable. Tyler would be untouchable. Forever. I looked at the calendar on my desk. Sunday, April 14th. 6 days. Tyler would board that plane in 6 days. My hands were shaking, but my mind was clear. Clearer than it had been in 4 years. James walked through the door. He'd driven straight from Atlanta. His face was grim. "Tell me everything," he said. So I did. Every detail. Every lie. Every piece of evidence. When I finished, he sat back in his chair and let out a long breath. "We need the FBI. This is federal kidnapping. Will they move fast enough?" He looked at me. "They will when I tell them we have 6 days before a child disappears to Brazil." He nodded. "Then call them. Because I'm not losing my grandson." Have you ever reached a point where grief turns to steel? Where love becomes strategy? That's where I was. My son had made his choice. Now I was making mine. And William. He was about to learn that you don't steal from a mother. And you sure as hell don't steal from a grandmother. 6 days to save Tyler. The clock was ticking. And I was done playing defense. With James's help, I made 3 more calls that would change everything. Call number 1. FBI Agent Monica Torres. "Agent Torres, my name is Martha Reeves. My son is William Reeves. You've been looking for him for 4 years. Silence. Then typing. Fast typing. Mrs. Reeves, are you telling me you know where your son is? El Paso, Texas. Living as Robert Nash. Running a car dealership. And in 5 days, he's planning to kidnap his 12-year-old son and flee to Brazil. More silence. Can you prove this? Every word. Bank records, emails, recorded phone calls. And I can deliver him to you. But I need something in return. What? Immunity for my daughter-in-law. She was manipulated. She cooperated under duress. She'll testify against William for everything. If she gives us William Reeves and helps us recover $2.8 million. I'll have the paperwork ready tomorrow. Call number 2. Dr. Patricia Chen, Tyler's school counselor. Dr. Chen, this is Martha Reeves, Tyler's grandmother. I need your help. We have to tell Tyler that his father is alive. And that his father is trying to kidnap him. A sharp intake of breath. Martha, this will devastate him. I know. But he needs to know the truth. Will you be there? Help us tell him. Of course. When? Tomorrow. 4 p.m. Your office. I'll be ready. Call number 3. Donna Pritchard. This one was harder. I stared at Kaylee's phone at Donna's number for a full minute before dialing. She answered on the 3rd ring. Worry. Hello. Donna. This is Martha Reeves. William's mother. The woman whose son destroyed your life. We need to talk. Crying. Immediate broken crying. What do you want? Justice. And I need your help to save my grandson. Why would I help you? Her voice turned bitter. You're part of the family that ruined mine. What's in it for you? I asked quietly. Freedom. Safety. A future for your daughter that isn't built on lies. William is planning to kidnap Tyler and flee to Brazil. If he succeeds, Donna, you'll never be free of him. He'll keep blackmailing you. Keep using you. But if we stop him together, the FBI gives you immunity. You get your life back. Long pause. Breathing. Thinking. I'm listening. April 15, 2024. 4 p.m. Dr. Patricia Chen's office, Savannah Middle School. Tyler sat on the couch, looking small and scared. His eyes darting between all of us. Me, his mother, Dr. Chen, and his great-uncle James in his detective's jacket. Am I in trouble? His voice cracked. My heart broke. No, sweetheart. But we need to tell you something about your father. Tyler's entire body went rigid. His face hardened in a way I'd never seen. 12 years old but suddenly looking much older. I know he's alive, Grandma. The room went silent. Kaylee gasped. James leaned forward. Tyler reached into his pocket and pulled out the purple burner phone. Held it up like evidence. He's been calling me for 6 months. He told me you and Mom lied. That you made him leave. That you want to keep me from him. Tyler. Kaylee started, tears already streaming. You lied. Tyler stood up, voice rising. Angry. So angry. You said he was dead. I cried at his funeral. I had nightmares. I thought it was my fault somehow. Like maybe if I'd been a better son, he wouldn't have died. That broke me. My grandson, my sweet, quiet grandson, had been carrying guilt for 4 years. Thinking his father's death was somehow his fault. You're right, I said calmly, though my hands were shaking. We lied. But not for the reasons your father told you. I opened the folder I'd brought. Laid out documents on the coffee table, one by one, like a prosecutor presenting evidence. FBI indictment papers. $2.8 million embezzlement. Marriage certificate. William and Donna Pritchard. May 14, 2020. 6 weeks after his funeral. Birth certificate. Minash. Born February 2021. Tyler's half-sister he never knew existed. Bank records showing money laundering through Nash Premium Motors. The flight itinerary. One way to El Paso. Then Brazil. Emails to a Brazilian attorney making false claims about Kaylee being an unfit mother. And finally Tyler's own recorded phone calls. Your father stole $2.8 million, I said quietly. He was facing 20 years in federal prison. He faked his death to escape. He's been living in Texas under a fake name. He married another woman while still married to your mother. He has another daughter. And Tyler, I looked him directly in the eyes. He's planning to kidnap you. Tyler was shaking his head. No, he loves me. He said we'd be a family again. He said, Tyler. Dr. Chen leaned forward, her voice gentle but firm. Your father is committing a crime called parental kidnapping. If you get on that plane, you may never see your mother or grandmother again. He's taking you to Brazil, a country where U.S. law can't reach you. You'll be trapped there. Forever. He wouldn't. Picked up his phone. Found the recording from April 10th. Hit play. William's voice filled the room. Warm. Loving. Lying. I'm recording this, by the way. For court. When you come live with me, I'll need proof that your mom was unfit. That your grandma was abusive. These recordings will show you wanted to leave. That you were being mistreated. It'll be legal. Clean. No one can stop us. Tyler's face changed as he listened. Anger melted into confusion. Confusion into horror. The recording ended. He's using me. Tyler's voice was barely a whisper. Yes, sweetheart. I knelt in front of him, took his hands. You're not his son to him right now. You're a pawn. A way to hurt your mother. A way to escape the FBI. A way to get more money. Tyler stared at the plane ticket in his hand, the one William had sent him. One way to El Paso. To Mexico. To Brazil. Nowhere. Tears streamed down his face. I thought he wanted me. Thought he missed me. I know, baby. Kaylee reached for him, but he pulled away. Still angry. Still hurt. Still processing. What do I do? Tyler looked at me with those eyes. William's eyes, but nothing like William at all. These eyes were honest. Scared. Brave. You help us catch him, I said. And then Tyler, you heal. We all heal together. Tyler wiped his tears with the back of his hand. Sat up straighter. Made a decision that no 12-year-old should ever have to make. Okay, Grandma. His voice steadied. Tell me the plan. James leaned forward. Tyler, you're going to Texas. But the FBI will be with you every step. Your father won't hurt you. We won't let him. Tyler nodded slowly. Will I have to see him? Yes. But only long enough to get him to confess. Then it's over. And then, I squeezed his hand. Then we come home. All of us. And your father. He goes to prison for a very long time. Tyler looked at the documents spread across the table. His father's crimes laid bare. He really married someone else. Yes. And I have a sister. A half-sister. She's 3. Does she know about me? No. Tyler was quiet for a long moment. Then, okay. Let's do it. Have you ever watched a child lose their innocence? That's what I saw in Tyler's eyes that day. But I also saw something else. Strength. My grandson was stronger than his father ever was. 5 days until the airport. 5 days to save Tyler. The trap was set. Now we just had to spring it. That evening, my apartment above Reeves and Bloom's became a war room. FBI agent Monica Torres sat at my kitchen table. Sharp suit, sharper eyes, a woman who'd built her career catching people like my son. Spread before her were documents, burner phones, bank statements, and 3 cups of coffee that had gone cold hours ago. James stood by the window. Killy paced. Tyler sat on the couch, trying to look brave and failing. And me. I sat in my late husband's chair, hands folded, watching Agent Torres turn my grandson into bait. Here's how this works, Torres said, pulling out a tablet and displaying a tactical map of El Paso International Airport. Tyler boards Flight AA 2847 Saturday morning, exactly as planned. William expects him. We don't change that. But, Kaylee started. Torres held up a hand. Tyler will be protected every second. He'll wear a microphone sewn into his jacket lining. She held up a Navy Braves hoodie. FBI tech worked on this all afternoon. Completely undetectable. Even if William searches him, he won't find it. She pulled out a pair of sneakers. GPS tracker in the left heel. We'll know where Tyler is at all times. If anything goes wrong, we extract him immediately. Tyler touched the shoe hesitantly. Will it hurt? You won't even feel it, son, James said gently. I've worn similar tech dozens of times. Torres continued. 2 undercover agents will be on the same flight. Seats 12C and 14F. They'll look like regular passengers. Tyler, you won't acknowledge them. You won't look at them. Pretend they don't exist. Okay. Tyler's voice was small. When you land in El Paso, you go to arrivals, gate 3. William will be waiting. You greet him normally. You're excited to see your dad. Understand? Tyler nodded, but I could see his hands shaking. Then, and this is crucial, you engage him in conversation. We've prepared questions designed to get him to incriminate himself. Can you do that? I think so. You'll do great, Torres said, and her voice softened just slightly. Tyler, I know this is scary, but you're helping us catch a dangerous criminal. You're incredibly brave. She pulled out a script. Questions typed in bold. Dad, did you really steal $2.8 million? Why did you marry Donna if you were still married to Mom? Are we really going to Mexico? And then Brazil? Will I ever see Mom and Grandma again? These questions establish intent, Torres explained. Embezzlement, bigamy, flight from prosecution, kidnapping. If he answers honestly, and he probably will, thinking you're alone, we have everything we need. And then? Tyler asked. Then FBI agents posing as airport staff move in. We arrest William on the spot. Federal kidnapping charges, plus outstanding warrants for embezzlement and fraud. Torres tapped the tablet, showing 3 more locations. Simultaneously, 3 teams raid. Nash Premium Motors for financial evidence. His mansion for documents and assets. And a storage unit registered to Robert Nash where we believe he's been hiding cash. What about Donna? Kaylee asked quietly. Donna Pritchard has agreed to full cooperation in exchange for immunity. Torres pulled out another document. She's providing financial records, text messages, and testimony about the blackmail. She's also agreed to let us search her home. She wants William in prison as much as you do. I thought about that. 2 women, 2 families, both destroyed by the same man. Strange allies, bound by betrayal. For the next 2 hours, Tyler rehearsed. Dr. Chen sat with him, coaching him on tone and body language. You need to sound curious, not accusatory. You're a 12-year-old asking innocent questions, not a prosecutor. Can you do that? Tyler tried. Dad, did you really steal $2.8 million? Less confrontational, Dr. Chen suggested. Try. Dad, people said you took money from your company. Is that true? I want to understand. Tyler tried again. Better. I watched my grandson practice lying to his father, and my heart broke and mended at the same time. Broke because he had to do this. Mended because he was strong enough to do it. Agent Torres stood. We're done for tonight. Tyler, get some sleep. Big day tomorrow. But none of us slept. Friday night. 11:47 p.m. I heard Tyler's door creak open. Found him standing in my doorway, clutching a pillow. Can't sleep. Yes. He shook his head. I patted the bed. He climbed in beside me, just like when he was little and had nightmares about monsters under the bed. Except now the monster was real. And it had his father's face. Grandma, what if he knows? Tyler whispered. What if he can tell I'm lying? I turned to face him. Then you tell him the truth. That you love him. That you wanted to believe him. But that you can't go with him because you love your mom and me more. There's no shame in love, Tyler. Even when it's complicated. He was quiet for a moment. Then, Do you still love him? Your son? Tears filled my eyes. I'd been asking myself that question for days. I love the boy he was, I said slowly. The 7-year-old who helped me plant roses. The teenager who brought me breakfast in bed on Mother's Day. I grieve the man he could have been. But Tyler, I looked at him directly. I will not let him destroy you the way he destroyed himself. Tyler hugged me tight. I'm scared. Me too, sweetheart. I held him close. But we're scared together. And that makes us brave. We lay there in the dark, grandmother and grandson, both terrified of tomorrow. Outside, Savannah slept. The flower shop was closed, dark, waiting. In 5 hours, everything would change. Saturday morning. 4:30 a.m. Tyler's alarm shrieked through the quiet apartment. I was already awake. Had been for hours. I found Tyler in the kitchen, staring at a bowl of cereal he couldn't eat. Kaylee emerged from her room, eyes red and swollen. She'd cried all night. I'd heard her. James arrived at 5 a.m. with coffee and grim determination. Agent Torres's team arrived at 5:15 a.m. 2 vans, 8 agents, equipment cases. They fitted Tyler with the wire. Tested it. Say something, Torres instructed. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Tyler's voice came through crystal clear on the receiver. They put the GPS tracker in his shoe. Handed him the Braves hoodie with the hidden microphone. Tyler looked at me. 12 years old. Wearing a wire. About to betray his father to save himself. I can do this, he said. More to himself than to me. I know you can. I hugged him tight. Whispered in his ear. You're braver than your father ever was. We drove to the airport in silence. At the security checkpoint, Tyler turned back one last time. Grandma. Yes, sweetheart. When this is over. Will we be okay? Our family. Thought about that. Family. Broken. Scattered. Built on lies and reconstructed on truth. Yes, I said. We'll be okay. Because we choose each other. And that's what family really means. Tyler nodded. Took a breath. Walked through security. Kaylee collapsed against me, sobbing. James put his hand on my shoulder. He'll be fine. Torres's team is the best. I watched my grandson disappear into the terminal. And I prayed to a God I wasn't sure I believed in anymore. Please. Please let this work. Please bring him home safe. The plane took off at 6:15 a.m. Tyler was on it. The FBI was on it. And in El Paso, my son, the criminal, waited, thinking he'd won. He had no idea his mother was about to destroy him. What would you do to protect your family? Because I was about to find out exactly how far a grandmother would go. Saturday, April 20th, 2024. 5:45 a.m. Savannah/Hilton Head International Airport. The airport was eerily quiet in the pre-dawn darkness. Only a handful of travelers shuffled through security. Business people with roller bags, a family heading to Disney World, an elderly couple holding hands. Us. Standing at the security checkpoint like we were sending Tyler off to summer camp instead of into the arms of a criminal. Tyler wore jeans, his Braves hoodie, and a backpack. He looked so young. So small. 12 years old and about to face the father who'd abandoned him, lied to him, tried to steal him. Hidden in that hoodie's lining was an FBI wire. In his left shoe, a GPS tracker. On flight 2847, 2 undercover agents who'd protect him with their lives. But none of that made this easier. Kaylee hugged him so tight I thought she might never let go. I love you, she whispered into his hair. I'm so sorry for everything. Be brave, baby. I love you too, Mom. Tyler's voice was steady, but I could see his hands shaking. When Kaylee finally released him, I knelt down. My knees protested. Arthritis and age and too many years standing in the flower shop, but I didn't care. I held Tyler's face in my hands. Hands that had arranged 10,000 bouquets. Hands that had held William as a baby. Hands that now held my grandson's fate. Tyler James Reeves. I looked into his eyes. William's eyes, but nothing like William's heart. You are the bravest person I know. Your father thinks you're a child he can manipulate. He's about to learn you're a Reeves. And Reeves don't break. What if I mess up? His voice cracked. Then Agent Torres and Uncle James will be there. You're not alone, sweetheart. You've never been alone. He nodded, swallowed hard, adjusted his backpack. Then he walked through security without looking back. Kaylee collapsed into my arms, sobbing. What if something goes wrong? What if William figures it out? What if? He'll be okay, I said, watching Tyler's hoodie disappear into the crowd. We'll all be okay. But my hands were shaking, because I wasn't sure I believed it. American Airlines Flight 2847. Seat 13A. Tyler found his window seat and tried to act normal. Tried to be just a kid excited to see his dad. 2 rows ahead, FBI agent David Parks sat in 11C, pretending to read the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. He was 40-something, looked like a businessman, completely unremarkable. 1 row behind, FBI agent Sarah Mitchell in 14F had her eyes closed, pretending to sleep. She was younger, dressed like a grad student, headphones on. Tyler put in his own earbuds. To anyone watching, he was listening to music. In reality, he was connected to Agent Torres's command center. Tyler, can you hear me? Her voice came through, clear and calm. Tap your armrest twice for yes. Tyler tapped. Good. You're doing great. We'll be with you every step. Your grandmother and uncle are already on a plane to El Paso. They'll be there when this is over. Just remember, be yourself. Be honest. Let him think he's won. The plane's engines roared to life. Tyler pressed his forehead against the window and watched Savannah disappear below the clouds, the only home he'd ever known, getting smaller and smaller until it vanished completely. He wondered if he'd ever feel safe there again. Dallas, Fort Worth International Airport. 9:47 a.m. 2-hour layover. Tyler sat in a food court, staring at a bagel he couldn't eat. Everything tasted like cardboard. Or fear. Probably both. His phone buzzed. Text from Uncle Rob. Almost there, buddy. So excited to see you. When you land, head straight to arrivals. I'll be the guy with the biggest smile in Texas. Love you, son. Tyler stared at those words. Love you, son. Did William love him? Or was Tyler just a pawn in some twisted game? A way to hurt mom and grandma. A bargaining chip. He typed back. Love you too, Dad. The lie tasted like ashes in his mouth. Agent Park walked past, dropped a folded napkin on Tyler's table without looking at him. Tyler unfolded it. You're doing great. Hey, come. We've got you. Tyler crumpled the napkin and threw it away. Boarded the second flight. Tried not to think about what came next. El Paso International Airport. 1:43 p.m. Mountain Time. The plane touched down with a jolt that made Tyler's heart leap into his throat. This was it. No turning back now. He grabbed his backpack, filed off the plane with the other passengers, followed the signs to arrivals. His legs felt like they weren't connected to his body. His hands were sweating so badly he wiped them on his jeans 3 times. The terminal was crowded. Families reuniting, business travelers rushing to rental cars, the usual airport chaos. And there at Gate 3 stood his father, William Reeves, 45 years old, alive. He'd grown a beard, neatly trimmed, graying at the edges. Wore designer jeans and a crisp white polo shirt that probably cost more than Mom's weekly grocery budget. A Rolex gleamed on his wrist. Sunglasses pushed up on his head. Arms spread wide, huge smile on his face. Like he was Father of the Year. Like he hadn't faked his own death. Like he hadn't abandoned his family and stolen millions of dollars. Tyler's feet stopped moving. For 4 years, he'd dreamed about this moment. Seeing his dad again. Hugging him. Hearing his voice. Having his father back. But now, standing here, all Tyler felt was fear. Because the man standing at Gate 3 wasn't his father. Not really. That man had died 4 years ago, or maybe he'd never existed at all. This man was a stranger wearing a familiar face. William spotted him. His smile grew wider. Tyler! Tyler! Tyler forced his feet to move. One step. Another. Closer. He could hear Agent Torres in his ear. "You're doing great, Tyler. Stay calm. Let him think you're happy to see him." Tyler tried to smile. Wasn't sure if he pulled it off. Around the terminal, FBI agents positioned themselves. A woman at the coffee cart. A janitor mopping near the restrooms. 2 TSA officers at the security checkpoint. All watching. All waiting. Outside, in an unmarked FBI van, I watched the whole thing on a monitor. Live feed from Tyler's wire. Audio crystal clear. James sat beside me. Kaylee was on my other side, gripping my hand so tight I thought my bones might break. On the screen I watched my son, my criminal son, open his arms to embrace my grandson. "Now, baby," I whispered, even though Tyler couldn't hear me. Now. This was it. The moment everything came together or fell apart. Tyler walked into William's arms. And the trap snapped shut. What would you do if you had to choose between the father who abandoned you and the family who never stopped fighting for you? Tyler was about to make that choice. And William? He was about to learn that underestimating a 12-year-old boy was the biggest mistake of his criminal life. The arrest was coming. Justice was seconds away. Stay with me because what happens next will make you believe in karma. William saw Tyler and his whole face transformed. For just a moment, one fleeting, genuine moment, I saw my son. The real William. The one who used to read bedtime stories and teach his boy how to throw a curveball. Love flickered in his eyes. Real love. Then the mask slid back into place. The con artist. The criminal. The man who'd perfected the art of lying. "There's my boy. Come here, son." Through the FBI van's monitor, I watched Tyler walk forward on shaking legs. William wrapped him in a hug. Tight, possessive, controlling. Tyler stiffened. Every muscle in that 12-year-old body screamed to run. But he returned the hug. He had to. He was playing a part. And God, he was good at it. "Look at you." William held Tyler at arm's length, appraising him like merchandise. "You've grown. What are you now, 5 feet 6 inches? You'll be taller than me soon. 5 feet 5 inches. Still growing." Tyler's voice was steady. Practiced. "That's my guy." William's arm snaked around Tyler's shoulders. "Come on, let's get your bag and hit the road. We've got a long drive ahead." "Where are we going?" "Somewhere special. You'll see." They walked toward baggage claim. William's grip on Tyler's shoulder was possessive, controlling. Like he owned him. Tyler glanced up. "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Anything, buddy." Then. "Did you really steal $2.8 million? William froze mid-step. I stopped breathing. He looked around nervously, scanning faces, checking for threats. Then he leaned close to Tyler, voice dropping to a harsh whisper. "Who told you that?" "Your mom. Your grandma." "They're liars, Tyler. The FBI documents said it. I saw them." William's face hardened like concrete. His voice turned cold, sharp. "Listen to me. That money was mine. Earned it. The company tried to cheat me out of bonuses, commissions. I just took what I was owed. So you did take it. I took what belonged to me. That's not stealing." In the FBI van, Agent Torres whispered into her radio. "We have admission on embezzlement. Continue." Tyler swallowed hard. Pushed forward. "What about Donna? You married her while you were still married to Mom." William's expression shifted, panic flickering across his features, then morphing into anger. "Tyler, where is this coming from? Did someone talk to you? Did they? I just want to understand." Tyler's voice cracked just slightly. "Perfect. Are we really going to Mexico? And then Brazil?" William stopped walking completely. Grabbed both of Tyler's shoulders. "Hard enough to hurt. Did your mother put you up to this?" Did your grandmother? No, I just. William's eyes narrowed. His grip tightened. And then I saw it the moment he figured it out. The moment the con artist realized he'd been conned. You're wearing a wire, aren't you? His voice was deadly quiet. Aren't you? FBI agent Monica Torres stepped out from behind a support pillar, badge held high. William James Reeves. FBI. You're under arrest for wire fraud, embezzlement, bigamy, and attempted kidnapping of a minor across state lines. The color drained from William's face. He looked at Tyler, betrayal and rage and something that might have been hurt flashing across his features. You set me up? Tyler stepped back, tears streaming down his face. You were going to take me to Brazil and never let me see my family again. I am your family. Hands behind your back. Now. Torres moved forward, handcuffs ready. William bolted. He got 3 steps before FBI agent David Park tackled him to the ground. The sound of William's body hitting the terminal floor echoed through the airport like a gunshot. Handcuffs clicked. William struggled, screaming, spit flying from his mouth. Tyler, don't do this. I'm your father. I love you. Tyler was crying now, really crying. You don't love me. You were using me. I was saving you. From them. From your mother. From that manipulative. You have the right to remain silent, Torres said calmly, professionally. I suggest you use it. But William didn't stop. He screamed as they dragged him up. Screamed as they read him his rights. Screamed Tyler's name over and over like a prayer, like a curse, like both. The terminal erupted into chaos. Travelers stopped mid-stride, staring. Phones came out, dozens of them, recording everything. A little girl started crying. Airport security rushed over, radios crackling. And Tyler stood frozen in the middle of it all, watching his father being dragged away in handcuffs, still screaming his name. Agent Torres knelt beside him. You did it. You were so brave. It's over now. Is it? Tyler's voice was hollow. Me. Is it really over? I couldn't stand it anymore. I burst out of the FBI van, ran into the terminal, pushed through the crowd of gawkers with their damn phones. Tyler saw me. His face crumpled. Grandma! I wrapped him in my arms, held him tight enough to fuse our bones together. It's over, sweetheart. You're safe. You're safe now. He collapsed into me, sobbing so hard his whole body shook. 12 years old and carrying the weight of betraying his father to save himself. Kaylee appeared seconds later. She'd been waiting outside with James, unable to watch. She joined our embrace, the 3 of us clinging to each other in the middle of El Paso International Airport while strangers recorded our grief on their phones. 3 generations. Broken. Healing. Surviving. Through the terminal windows, I watched FBI agents load William into a black SUV. He was still screaming. Still calling Tyler's name. Still pretending he was the victim. Grandma! Tyler's voice was muffled against my shoulder. Can we go home now? Yes, baby. We're going home. Tyler pulled back slightly. Looked toward the SUV where his father was being held. William's eyes locked on his son through the tinted glass. For a moment I thought Tyler might wave. Might give William something. Acknowledgement, forgiveness, goodbye. But Tyler turned away. Didn't look back. And that's when I knew. My grandson was going to be okay. Guard, yes. Changed forever, absolutely. But okay. William Reeves, criminal, con artist, kidnapper, disappeared into the FBI vehicle. The door slammed shut. The SUV pulled away. And with it went the man I'd raised, the son I'd loved, the ghost who'd haunted us for 4 years. Justice isn't always pretty. Sometimes it's messy and painful and breaks your heart even when it's right. But watching my grandson choose truth over lies, choose his real family over the father who tried to steal him, that was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. 3 raids were happening simultaneously across El Paso. William's empire was falling. And us. We were finally free. While William screamed in handcuffs at El Paso International Airport, 3 FBI teams moved like a coordinated strike force across the city. Simultaneous raids. Perfectly timed. Devastating. Location 1. Nash Premium Motors, 4520 Montana Avenue. 1:47 p.m. The luxury car dealership gleamed in the Texas sun, all glass and chrome and expensive vehicles. BMWs. Mercedes. A red Lexus with a $78,000 price tag in the showroom window. The American dream, built on stolen money. FBI Financial Crimes Unit hit the front door with a warrant and enough agents to invade a small country. FBI. Search warrant. Nobody move. Salespeople froze mid-pitch. A customer test driving a BMW convertible nearly crashed into a light pole. The receptionist, a young woman named Ashley who had no idea her boss was a criminal, dropped her coffee, staining the white carpet. They found exactly what they expected in the front room. Legitimate cars for sale. Proper paperwork. Everything legal on the surface. But the back office. That's where William's empire lived. The floor safe required a blowtorch to open. Inside, $840,000 in cash, bundled in neat stacks. Drug cartel money. Embezzled money. Money that should have been in a Georgia courtroom as evidence. Ledgers documented everything. Fake car sales to launder the stolen $2.8 million. A buyer named Robert Martinez purchased a Mercedes for $95,000 cash in December 2020. Except Robert Martinez didn't exist. The car was never sold. The money was just cleaned. 12 shell company bank accounts. $1.6 million total. Forged documents. Fake buyer identities. A money laundering operation sophisticated enough to run for 4 years without detection. On William's desk sat 3 framed photos, positioned carefully. One of Tyler at age 8. Before the funeral. One of Donna and baby Emma at the hospital. Donna holding their newborn, smiling like she'd won the lottery. One of all 3 together, William, Donna, Emma, at a park. The perfect family. 3 families. 3 lives. Compartmentalized like files in a cabinet. Tyler's photo faced the wall. Like William couldn't bear to look at the son he'd abandoned. Or maybe more likely like he'd already moved on. Computer files told the rest of the story. Email threads with Dr. Ricardo Mendez in Sao Paulo about custody arrangements and relocation procedures. Flight confirmations. El Paso to Mexico City. Mexico City to Sao Paulo. One-way tickets for Robert Nash and Tyler Nash. A handwritten note. Brazil extraction, April 22nd. No return. No return. William had planned to disappear with Tyler forever. Location 2. 8847 Scenic Ridge Drive, West El Paso. 1:51 p.m. The mansion sat on a hill overlooking the city. $1.2 million of stolen dreams. Swimming pool in the back. 3-car garage. Manicured lawn that probably cost more to maintain than most people's mortgages. Donna Pritchard answered the door before FBI agents could knock. She held Emma, 3 years old, blonde curls, William's eyes on her hip. The little girl clutched a stuffed unicorn, confused why strangers in FBI jackets were standing on her porch. "He's at the airport," Donna said quietly. No tears. Just exhaustion. "You'll find evidence in the master bedroom safe. Combination is 0831. Our anniversary. Or what I thought was our anniversary. August 31st. Except William was already married. Had been married for 15 years to Kaylee. Donna's anniversary was a lie. Like everything else. FBI agents fanned through the house. Systematic, professional, photographing everything. The master bedroom safe opened easily with Donna's combination. Inside. William's real driver's license. William James Reeves, Savannah, Georgia. His actual face. His actual identity. $125,000 cash. Probably his emergency escape fund. Kaylee's life insurance payout statements showing $386,000 transferred over 4 years. 3 burner phones in plastic bags, each labeled in William's handwriting. K. Kaylee. D. Donna. T. Tyler. Handwritten notes on yellow legal paper. Brazil extraction plan. April 22, 2024. Tyler arrives El Paso April 20th. Crossed to Juarez April 21st. Mexico City to Sao Paulo April 22nd. Property purchased in Florianopolis. New identities arranged. Custody strategy. Record all calls with Tyler. Document Kaylee's neglect. Forge evidence of drug use. Brazilian attorney preparing custody papers. Blackmail Donna. Demand $500,000. Threaten to expose bigamy. She'll pay to protect Emma's legitimacy. Every crime, every lie. Documented in William's own handwriting. In Emma's nursery, the walls told a different story. Photos everywhere. William and Donna's engagement, their wedding day, Emma's birth, first birthday, second birthday. The 3 of them at the zoo, at the beach, at a country club Christmas party. Perfect family. Not one photo included Tyler, Kaylee, or me. We'd been erased completely. Photoshopped out of William's life like we never existed. Donna's statement. 2:03 p.m. FBI agent Lisa Huang sat across from Donna in the living room while Emma played with Legos in the next room, oblivious. "Tell me how you met him," Huang said gently. Donna's voice was hollow. "Me." November 2019. Charity gala at the El Paso Convention Center. He donated $50,000 to the Children's Hospital. Everyone was impressed. Here's this successful businessman, generous, charming, newly arrived in Texas. What did he tell you about his past? That he was a widower. That his wife died of cancer in 2018. That he was starting fresh, opening a business, looking for a new beginning. Donna laughed bitterly. I believed every word. Every single word. When did you find out the truth? September 2023. I found his real driver's license in the safe. Googled his name. Found his obituary. Found Kaylee's Facebook page with memorial posts. 4 years without you. Miss you every day. Donna's voice broke. I realized I'd married a ghost. That my marriage wasn't real. That my daughter's father is a criminal. Agent Huang handed her tissues. Donna took them but didn't wipe her tears. Just held them in clenched fists. I contacted Kaylee because I was angry, Donna whispered. I wanted her to pay. For existing. For being the real wife. For having the real marriage while I had. What? A lie. A fraud. But now I realize we're both victims. We both loved a man who doesn't exist. Who never existed. We're just 2 women who got conned by a sociopath. Agent Huang leaned forward. Will you testify against him? Donna looked toward the playroom where Emma sang the ABC song, building towers that would fall and be rebuilt over and over. Yes, Donna said firmly. For Emma. So when she's old enough to understand, she'll know her mother tried to do the right thing. Even if her father never did. 2:47 p.m. FBI Financial Crimes Division, El Paso Field Office. Agent Torres stood in front of a whiteboard covered with numbers, names, and red lines connecting them all. Total assets seized. $2.4 million. James whistled low. Almost everything he stole. Close enough. Torres circled the number. Cash from the dealership safe, bank accounts, property equity. We're still tracking offshore accounts, but this is the bulk of it. I stared at that number. $2.4 million. Tyler's college fund. Kaylee's house payments. 4 years of lies, quantified in dollars. What happens to it? Yes. Restitution to Hartwell Industries first. They're the primary victim. Then Kaylee gets back the life insurance money he extorted. The rest goes to the federal government. And Donna. Torres flipped through papers. Judge approved $400,000 from asset seizure for Emma's future. It's not Donna's money. It's held in trust for the child. She can't touch it, but Emma will have college paid for. One innocent child protected. 2 families destroyed. 1 criminal finally caught. Justice wasn't clean. It was messy and complicated and left scars that would never fully heal. But it was justice. And sometimes that's enough. Have you ever watched someone's empire burn? That's what happened to William Reeves. Every lie exposed. Every crime documented. Every dollar seized. But the hardest part was still ahead. Facing him one last time. And I wasn't sure I was ready for that conversation. FBI Field Office, El Paso. April 20, 2024. 4:15 p.m. William sat in interrogation room 3, handcuffed to a steel table bolted to the floor. His designer polo shirt was wrinkled now, sweat stains darkening the armpits. The Rolex on his wrist, purchased with stolen money, caught the fluorescent light mocking him. He'd been read his Miranda rights. He'd refused an attorney. Classic narcissist move. He thought he could talk his way out, charm his way free, convince everyone that he was the victim. Agent Torres and James questioned him for 2 hours. I watched through one-way glass, standing between Kaylee and Tyler, all of us silent as my son performed the greatest con of his life, trying to convince federal agents he'd done nothing wrong. That money was owed to me, William insisted, leaning forward as far as the handcuffs allowed. The company exploited me for years. Bonuses they promised and never paid. Commissions they conveniently forgot. I just took what I earned. You stole $2.8 million, Torres said flatly. I took what was mine. He denied everything at first, then shifted to justification. Then, as the evidence piled up, bank records, emails, recordings, he pivoted to rage. Kaylee knew what she was signing up for. She's not innocent. She helped me fake my death. She identified that body. She lied to everyone. Under your manipulation, James said. Donna pursued me. She got pregnant on purpose to trap me. That baby. That was her plan, not mine. You married her while still married to Kaylee. A technicality. It's called bigamy. William's face flushed red. Tyler wanted to come to Texas. You heard the recordings, he called me. He missed me. His mother and grandmother poisoned him against me. And I was just trying to rescue my son. Every crime. Someone else's fault. Classic narcissist. Classic William. I'd heard enough. I found Agent Torres in the hallway. I want to see him. She looked at me, hesitant. Mrs. Reeves, that's against protocol. He's in federal custody. Family visits require 5 minutes. My voice didn't waver. I've earned 5 minutes. Torres studied my face. Saw something there. Steel, maybe, or justice, or a mother's final goodbye. 5 minutes, she agreed. We'll be watching. Interrogation room 3. 4:47 p.m. I walked in. The door clicked shut behind me. William looked up. Saw his mother. His face went through a dozen emotions in 3 seconds. Shame bleeding into defiance, defiance morphing into rage, rage collapsing into desperate pleading. Mom, thank God. You have to tell them. I sat across from him. The steel table between us felt appropriate. Cold. Impersonal. Like the space between us had always been. Hello, son. This is all a misunderstanding. The words tumbled out fast, practiced. I can explain everything. The money, the marriage, Tyler. If you just listen, you'll understand. Don't. He stopped mid-sentence, mouth open. Don't insult me with lies. I've heard them all. From Kaylee. From Donna. From Tyler. From the FBI. I know what you did. Every crime. Every betrayal. Every manipulation. His expression hardened. I had no choice. The FBI was going to destroy me. I did what I had to do to survive. You had a choice. My voice was quiet. Edley. You could have faced consequences. Hired a good lawyer. Done your time. Been a father when you got out. Tyler would have been 16 when you were released. You could have rebuilt. Instead, you traumatized your son. You created a second family built on fraud. You tried to kidnap Tyler to extort money from his mother. Kaylee owed me. He slammed his cuffed hands on the table. That insurance money was mine. I paid those premiums for years. I slammed my hand down harder. The sound echoed like a gunshot. That insurance was for Tyler. For his future. For his education. You already stole $2.8 million. It wasn't enough. You needed to steal your son's college fund too. Silence. William's face twisted into something ugly. Something I didn't recognize. You know what? His voice turned venomous. I'm glad I left. Glad I built a new life. Donna is better than Kaylee ever was. Younger, prettier, less needy. And Emma. She's a better kid than Tyler. Smarter. Happier. Not all damaged and withdrawn like. I stood up so fast my chair scraped across the floor. You don't get to talk about my grandson. My voice shook. Not with fear, but with rage barely contained. You don't get to pretend your second family mattered more. You destroyed 2 families, William. Donna's marriage is invalid. Her daughter will grow up knowing her father is in federal prison. Kaylee spent 4 years paying you while drowning in debt. Tyler spent 4 years grieving a father who was alive and didn't care enough to stop lying. I'm his father. I have rights. You're a criminal. You have nothing. I turned toward the door. My hand reached for the handle. Mom. William's voice cracked. You can't just leave me here. I'm your son. Doesn't that mean anything? Don't you love me? Stop. For 4 years I'd asked myself that question. Did I still love him? Could I still love a man who'd become a monster? Turned back. Looked him in the eyes. Those eyes I'd looked into when he was born, when he took his first steps, when he graduated high school. And I gave him the truth. I loved the boy who helped me plant roses when he was 7. Who'd get dirt all over his church clothes and laugh when I pretended to be mad. I loved the teenager who brought me breakfast in bed on Mother's Day. Burned toast and runny eggs, but made with love. I loved the young man who cried at his father's funeral and promised to make me proud. My voice didn't waver. But that boy is gone. That man never existed. You killed him. You killed my son. And what's sitting here now? That's just a stranger wearing his face. William stared at me. Something broke in his expression, a crack in the mask he'd worn for so long. You taught Tyler that family is everything, I continued. And you were right. Your 2 families, Kaylee and Donna, teamed up to catch you. Tyler chose his mother and grandmother over you. Emma will grow up never knowing the monster you really are. And me. Open the door. I'm going home to raise my grandson the way I should have raised you. With truth. With consequences. With love that doesn't come with conditions. I stepped into the hallway. Goodbye, William. I won't visit you in prison. I won't write. I won't take your calls. You stopped being my son the day you faked your death. And I stopped being your mother the day I found out. Close the door. Behind it, William screamed. A primal, animal sound of rage and loss and realization that he'd finally, truly lost everything. The scream echoed through the FBI building. Kept walking. Out of the interrogation wing. Through the lobby. Into the El Paso sun. James caught up with me on the sidewalk. Martha. You okay? Tears streamed down my face. But I was standing. At high. Shoulders back. I'm okay, I said. And I meant it. It was over. Sometimes love means walking away. Sometimes being a mother means refusing to enable. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is say goodbye. William would go to prison. Tyler would heal. And me. I'd live with my choices. But I'd live free. Finally free. 6 months later. October 2024. Federal District Court, Atlanta, Georgia. The courtroom smelled like old wood and nervous sweat. I sat in the front row of the gallery. Kaylee on my left, Tyler on my right. My grandson had grown taller in 6 months. Almost 5 feet 7 inches now, shooting up like a weed. Still quiet. Still healing. But stronger. Behind us, the courtroom was packed. Media in the back rows, sketch artists with their pads. Donna Pritchard sitting alone near the aisle, holding a tissue she hadn't used yet. And at the defendant's table, William. Orange jumpsuit. Handcuffs. 6 months in county jail waiting for trial had aged him. Gray streaking his beard, hollows under his eyes, shoulders slumped. He looked small. Defeated. United States of America versus William James Reeves. The charges read like a criminal resume. Wire fraud. Money laundering. Bigamy. Attempted kidnapping of a minor. Identity fraud. Obstruction of justice. Each one a choice he'd made. Each one a life he'd destroyed. Assistant U.S. Attorney Sarah Brennan stood to present the prosecution's case. She was 40-something, sharp as a blade, and she'd spent 6 months building an airtight case. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the evidence you're about to see is overwhelming. And it was. Bank records showing $2.8 million embezzled over 3 years. Wire transfers, shell companies, fake invoices. Kaylee's testimony. She'd been granted full immunity in exchange for cooperation. Sat on that witness stand for 4 hours, voice steady, and told everything. The fake death. The burned body. The years of payments. Blackmail. I was manipulated, she said. But I made a choice to help him. And I'm living with that choice every day. Donna's testimony came next. She'd been granted immunity too. The second wife, just as much a victim as the first. He told me his wife died of cancer, Donna said quietly. I believed him. I married him. I had his child. And then I found out everything was a lie. Tyler's recorded phone calls played in the courtroom. William's voice echoing through the speakers, manipulating his own son. Your grandma is controlling. Your mom is weak. Come to Texas. I'll save you. FBI surveillance footage from El Paso International Airport showed William's arrest. Tyler stepping back. William screaming. The moment everything fell apart. And William's own statements to FBI agents, denying everything, then justifying everything, then blaming everyone else. The defense attorney, a tired-looking public defender named Marcus Webb, did his best. My client suffered from diminished capacity due to stress. He was coerced by criminal associates. He misunderstood the law regarding asset recovery. The jury didn't buy it. How could they? The evidence was a mountain. William's guilt was carved in stone. Victim impact statements. October 17, 2024. 2 p.m. Judge Harold Whitmore, 72, gray-haired, stern, looked over his glasses at the prosecutor. The court will now hear victim impact statements. Kaylee went first. She walked to the podium, hands shaking, and read from a paper she'd rewritten 17 times. Your Honor, William Reeves destroyed my life. He made me an accomplice to fraud. He made me lie to my son. He made me watch my boy grieve a father who was alive. Her voice broke. I lost 4 years to fear, debt, and lies. But I'm reclaiming my life now. Tyler and I are healing. And William. He'll have 22 years to think about what he destroyed. She sat down. Didn't look at William. He wasn't worth her eyes anymore. Donna went next. I married a ghost. I had a child with a criminal. My daughter will grow up knowing her father's in prison. Donna's voice was steady, cold. William Reeves didn't just betray his first family. He created a second family built entirely on fraud. I hope he serves every single day of his sentence. Then Tyler stood. My 12-year-old grandson, 13 next month, walked to that podium in a button-down shirt and tie, looking so much older than he should have to look. He read from a paper Dr. Chan had helped him write. My dad used to take me to Braves games. He taught me how to throw a curveball. He told me to always tell the truth. Tyler's voice didn't waver. Then he faked his death, stole millions of dollars, and tried to kidnap me. I don't have a dad anymore. But I have a mom who's trying her best. And I have a grandma who saved me. That's enough. He sat down. I squeezed his hand. He squeezed back. Then it was my turn. I walked to that podium on 72-year-old knees, arthritis making each step hurt, but I stood tall. William was my only child. I raised him alone after his father left. I worked 3 jobs to give him opportunities. I taught him right from wrong. I looked directly at William. He couldn't meet my eyes. But somewhere along the way, he chose greed over integrity. He chose lies over love. He chose himself over his son. Your Honor, I ask for the maximum sentence. Not for revenge. But because my grandson deserves to grow up knowing that actions have consequences. That justice exists. That truth matters. I sat down. William stared at the table. Said nothing. The verdict. October 17, 2024. 3:47 p.m. Judge Whitmore looked at William with the kind of disgust usually reserved for the worst criminals. William James Reeves. Stand. William stood. Shackles rattled. This court finds you guilty on all counts. You have shown no remorse, no accountability, no recognition of the harm you've caused. You betrayed your family, your employer, and the legal system. The judge's voice was steel. Therefore, I sentence you as follows. Wire fraud and money laundering, 15 years. Bigamy, 5 years consecutive. Attempted kidnapping, 2 years consecutive. Identity fraud and obstruction of justice, 2 years concurrent. Total 22 years in federal prison. No possibility of parole. 22 years. William would be 67 when he got out. Tyler would be 34. A grown man with his own children, maybe. Children who'd never know their grandfather. You will pay restitution of $2.8 million to Hartwell Industries and $386,000 to Kaylee Reeves for life insurance fraud. The gavel came down. Bang. This court is adjourned. U.S. Marshals moved forward. William's lawyer whispered something in his ear. He shook his head, refusing whatever advice was offered. They led him away in shackles. At the last moment, William turned back. Looked at the gallery. His eyes found Tyler. Tyler turned away. Found Kaylee. Kaylee stared at him with something like pity. Not anger. Just sadness for the man he could have been. Found me. I met his eyes. And I nodded once. Done. You made your choices. Now live with them. He was gone. Outside the courthouse. 4:15 p.m. Reporters swarmed us like locusts. Cameras. Microphones. Questions shouted over each other. Mrs. Reeves. How do you feel about the verdict? Tyler. Do you have anything to say to your father? Kaylee. Will you be filing for divorce? I held up my hand. The crowd quieted. Today justice was served, I said clearly. My grandson learned that truth matters. That family isn't about blood, it's about showing up. William Reeves made his choices. Now he'll live with them. I put my arms around Tyler and Kaylee. We're going home. We're healing. And we're moving forward. We walked to James's car. He drove us away from the courthouse, away from the cameras, away from the ghost of William Reeves. Tyler looked out the window. Grandma. Yes, sweetheart. Is it really over? Thought about that. 22 years. Tyler would be 34. I'd be 93 if I lived that long. Would it ever really be over? Yes, I said. It's really over. And for the first time in 4 years I believed it. Justice isn't always satisfying. Sometimes it's just necessary. William got 22 years. But we got our lives back. And that's worth more than any sentence. One chapter left. One final goodbye. And then, finally we could start living again. 1 year later. April 2025. My backyard garden, Savannah, Georgia. Spring had returned like a promise kept. The dogwoods bloomed white and pink against the blue sky. Azaleas burst with color along the fence line. My garden. My sanctuary, the place I'd tended through grief and rage, and finally, slowly, peace thrived. I stood in the middle of it all, holding a shovel. Silver hair longer now, pulled back in a loose bun. Face softer. The hard lines of anger had smoothed into something gentler. Beside me, Kaylee, 39, wearing jeans and one of my old gardening shirts. She managed Reeves and Blooms now. Turned out she had a gift for it. The debt repayment plan was in progress. $386,000 takes time to pay back, but she was doing it. 1 month at a time. And Tyler, 13 years old. Nearly 5 feet 9 inches now. Growing so fast I had to buy him new clothes every few months. His smile returned slowly, like spring after a hard winter. Not completely back. Maybe it never would be. But there. Present. Real. We each held a shovel. Between us sat a white double delight rosebush in a burlap sack. Roots wrapped, waiting to be planted. White petals with red centers. Symbolizing truth. New beginnings. Love without conditions. Tyler looked at it, then at me. Grandma, why are we planting a memorial for Dad? After everything he did. I knelt beside the rose bush, ran my fingers over the leaves. We're not planting a memorial for the man he became, Tyler. We're planting one for the man he should have been. The father you deserved. The son I thought I raised. I looked up at him. We're honoring the potential he wasted. And we're burying the pain he caused. Kaylee nodded slowly. And maybe we're forgiving ourselves too. For believing him. For loving him. For not seeing the truth sooner. Maybe, I agreed. We dug together. 3 generations. 3 shovels breaking earth. The hole grew deeper. Rich Georgia soil, dark and fertile. Good ground for growing things. Good ground for starting over. Tyler paused, leaning on his shovel. Mom's been thinking about what to say. Like an epitaph. Kaylee smiled sadly. Here lies the man who chose lies over love. May his son choose differently. We placed the rose bush in the earth carefully. Patted the soil around the roots. Watered it with my mother's vintage watering can. The copper one she'd used in this same garden 50 years ago. 3 generations of women, and now 1 boy, tending the same ground. Tyler was quiet for a long moment. Then, Grandma, do you still love him? I knelt beside Tyler, not caring about the dirt on my knees, on my hands, under my fingernails. I love the memory of who he was. The 7-year-old who helped me plant roses. The teenager who brought me terrible breakfast in bed. I grieve the man he could have been. I looked Tyler in the eyes. But I will not waste another tear on the criminal he became. Love isn't just a feeling, Tyler. It's a choice. Every single day. And your father chose wrong. But we can choose right. Tyler's face crumpled slightly. What if I'm like him? What if I turn out? I cupped his face in my dirt-stained hands. You won't. Because you know the truth. You faced him. You chose your family over his lies. That took more courage than most adults ever show. Smiled. You, Tyler James Reeves, are nothing like him. You're like your grandfather Samuel. Kind, honest, brave. You're like your mother, resilient, loving, strong. And maybe, just maybe, you're a little bit like me. Tyler's lips quirked. Stubborn. I laughed, really laughed, for the first time in what felt like years. Stubborn. And proud of it. We stood back, looking at the rose bush. Fresh start. A living symbol. Kaylee wiped tears from her cheeks. What do we do now? I pulled them both into a hug. My daughter-in-law who'd been broken and was rebuilding. My grandson who'd been betrayed and was healing. We grow. Like this rose bush. We put down roots. We bloom. We survive. I looked at Tyler. And when you're older, when you have children of your own, you'll show them this rose bush. And you'll tell them the truth. That your father made terrible choices. But that you learned from them. That you chose love. That you chose family. That you chose truth. Tyler's voice was quiet but steady. I'll tell them about you, Grandma. About how you saved me. Tears filled my eyes. No, sweetheart. You saved yourself. I just reminded you who you were. We stood together in that garden. 3 generations, broken and healing, surrounded by roses and dogwoods and azaleas, and all the beautiful things that grow from dark soil. The sun set behind us, casting long shadows. 3 survivors who'd refused to break. They say blood is thicker than water,